It's the start of a new month, so let's do a February recap and March reset. Let's get right into it. Okay, so if you were here for my first kind of monthly reset video, wipe that whole video out of your memory because I was in such a bad place when I did that video. I was super sick. My mind was just not fully there. So it was a bad video, long story short. And I promise that I'm almost positive this video is going to do or be 10 times better because I am not sick. But I wanted to start this video off by doing a bit of a February recap. So kind of just going into my journal and seeing what I did and spotlighting some slow living favorites, goals that I was able to accomplish, things like that. I really want these reset videos to have a focus on slow living because that's what this channel is all about. So anyway, let's get into this journal. This journal is the Artium Planner and it's the A5 size. I found it at McNally Jackson's, which is a bookstore in New York City, or a series of bookstores in New York City. But when I Google it, I can find it on the Mochi Things website. So if you want a journal like mine, that's where you can find it online. But let's flip over to February, and I'm going to just quickly look at this calendar view here and see some notable things. So the first thing is the chemical peel. So I did part 2 of a chemical peel in February, and if you've been on the channel for some time, you know I've been struggling with my skin for a little over a year, and I had a tumultuous situation with a dermatologist last year. So this year I'm really focusing on improving my skin very seriously. So I think the chemical peel is a big deal for me, and I'm just glad that I'm being consistent with that routine thus far. As you can see, the chemical peel is doing wonders for my skin. But the other thing I wanted to shout out is that I hung out with some friends this month. That is not something I typically do, at least not in person. I, communicate and chat with my friends all the time, but in person does not happen for majority of the year. I probably see my friends once or twice for the entire year. Part of it is because I live in a different state, but part of it is also just being an adult, I think, or just a new reality where it's a little bit harder to make plans in person, at least in my experience. So it's a big deal whenever I get to hang out with them, and I did this month, and it was a great time. So yeah, those are some things that I just wanted to note. I also want to kind of go back and flip through my yearly goals because every single month I try to touch on my yearly goals, my big yearly goals, to make sure that I'm staying on top of those things and making sure that I'm actually doing them and not forgetting them once I write them out at the beginning of the year. So let's see. And I also do a lot of this when I'm doing my monthly reflection, which I'll talk about a little bit more in this video, but I will just note that I did put money into my savings this month, which is something that I try to do every single month. I dedicated time to hobbies, which is like a really big thing for me this year. And I did touch on some other stuff, almost a lot of these things. So I won't go down the entire list because I actually want to show you my Notion and how I was able to touch on all of these things, or most of these things, on a practical level, because a lot of it's in my Notion and I kind of want to show you it in that way. But yeah, I did pretty good this month when it comes to yearly goals. And I am proud of the little things that I also was able to do this month when it comes to skincare, hanging out with friends, things like that. I also wanted to spotlight some slow living favorites, just little things. When I say slow living favorites, I just mean like little things that brought me joy in this month that are like very tangible and I can actually share with you to make it a little bit more accessible, make it feel more real and not super vague, if that makes sense. One of those things are the Trader Joe's X&O gummy candies. I know this is not going to be relevant anymore because Valentine's Day is over and they're probably not stocking this up at any Trader Joe's, but it introduced me to Trader I think I said that right. Trader Joe's candy. The X&O gummy candies were specifically for Valentine's Day, but they are so good. So I really need to check out the whole candy aisle when it comes to Trader Joe's in the future because it was delicious. And then another thing are the mini bouquets from Whole Foods. I actually have it here. Let me show you. So this bouquet is so pretty. It's adorable. I love specifically that it's tiny. I think it was about $10 at Whole Foods. And once again, I love the fact that it's small. So it can fit in a little jar. It can fit in a mason jar. This is actually like an old peanut butter jar. and I just think it's the cutest thing, and you could sit it right on top of anywhere, to be honest with you, because it's so small. And I just think it's cute. I really, really like this. This brought me so much joy, and I got it to place in my kitchen when I had some company over, and yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, so those were two products. I would call those products when it comes to my slow living favorites. Now I want to talk about a couple of slow living experiences. So I mentioned already hanging out with my friends. I don't get to do that often, so it was very, very appreciative to kind of change things up in my day-to-day routine and do something different, and also spend quality time with my friends. So that's definitely something on the list. But also my hobby day. I had so much fun on my hobby day, and I vlogged the entire experience, so I won't get into it. You can watch that video, but that was such a fulfilling day, and I need to do more of those days. And another thing is the date night board game that I got for Valentine's Day. I purchased this game months ago, and I waited until Valentine's Day to play it because it's a date night board game. Let me actually show you, because I have it here. I didn't realize I had everything kind of sitting around me, but it's called The Awkward Years, and I just randomly picked this one because it's a 90s style date night board game, and it just applied to Ian and I. But I love the brand on Etsy, Created with Love. They make so many cool, quirky, indie kind of board games like this. They're very easy to play. No stress involved, because I know some board games can be stressful. This was not stressful at all. It was very fun. We spent hours playing it. There was a playlist attached to it and stuff like that. And they also specialize in a lot of like dating board games. So if that's of interest of you, they have a lot of really good ones. I think I also got a game last Valentine's Day from them as well, and it was so much fun. So yeah, this was super, super fun. Such a great way to spend Valentine's Day as two gamers. We ordered pizza, we played this game, we listened to the 90s playlist. It was such a great time. So this was a big one for me as well. I will also say that was another moment where we kind of removed ourselves from our day-to-day routine and switched things up, and it really helped us stop focusing on our adult responsibilities and focus on a little joy, a little fun moment, a fun evening. Okay, and then I just want to list out some favorite slow living practices. I think I only have two. Yeah, two. So one is watching YouTube while meal prepping. I know this is very, very tiny, but I think it counts. I have been putting on YouTube videos on my iPad and kind of setting it to the side while I do my Sunday meal prep. My Sunday meal prep takes about an hour, so usually I'm kind of just going through the steps and meal prepping what I need to meal prep. But now with the inclusion of the YouTube videos, I'm listening and watching a content creator that inspires me and brings me joy while I do something that's a bit of a task / responsibility, and it just makes it all the more enjoyable, and I really like doing that. So I have been doing that every single week in February, and I'm definitely going to keep doing that throughout the year. But the second thing is going to a local coffee shop and doing our weekly resets. So what I mean by weekly resets is I bring my journal and Ian brings his journal, and we go to a coffee shop and we kind of just go through all the things that we did or didn't do in the previous week, and then we set up our journal for the following week. And so we've been taking it to the coffee shop, we've been treating ourselves to a coffee, maybe sometimes a pastry. I've been really into the almond mocha at my local coffee shop. It's so good, and I get it iced so that I can slowly sip it once we've left the coffee shop. It's a little thing, and it makes me happy. So yeah, that's just been a practice that we've been enjoying, and we don't do it often so that it gets stale or boring. We do it every once in a while. Okay, so that is my February recap. We're going to move over into this planner actually and set things up for March. Okay, so that was a little bit of a misleading statement. I'm not actually going to set it up, but I am just going to show you how I set things up. The reason why I'm not setting it up right now is because Ian likes to do our monthly reflections together, because we kind of discuss what we've written down when it comes to our reflections, and it's just a nice thing that we have been doing, and I don't want to like violate that process or that practice that we've been enjoying. But I will show you what we typically do. So at the end of every month, we dedicate one page in this planner. It looks like this, just a blank page, and we write down our reflection, which is essentially these prompts. And so we have a little sticky note in our journals. It's set up exactly the same way Ian and mine is. And so we just answer these 5 prompts, and it's the same prompts every single month. So the top 3 accomplishments, I know that's a typo, sorry, but the top 3 accomplishments that we had for the month, it can revolve around literally anything. We keep it vague on purpose. How do I feel about long-term goals? So this is specific to that long list of goals that I created at the beginning of the year. Number 3 is focus for the following month. So this can relate to goals. I like to keep mine relating to goals, but it doesn't necessarily have to. Number 4 is upcoming challenges. And when I say upcoming challenges, I mean what challenges do I think I'm going to face when it comes to my focus for the following month. So say, for example, I want to focus on working out 3 times a week, and I would potentially write like my challenge is that I won't have time to because I have a lot of meetings and I'll be tired. Something like that, as an example. And then the 5th prompt, the last prompt, is how do I overcome that? And what I mean by that is how do I overcome the challenge that I think I'm going to face when it comes to what I want to focus on for the following month. So as you can see, everything is kind of intertwined. They relate to one another. And the prompts also kind of help guide yourself through some obstacles that you are anticipating. And so this just sets you up to have a much more positive and confident mindset going into the next month. At least I think so. While also this top one and the second one acknowledging all of the great things that you did in the month. And once again, keeping one vague, keeping one specific, because one vague just to simply acknowledge and celebrate any type of wins. And the second one, acknowledging what you've done when it comes to your goals, because we don't want to drop off on those goals. I hope that made sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that, but let's flip over to March. And it's going to be kind of hard for me to remember what I have going on where is it? Oh, here it is. It's going to be kind of hard for me to remember what I have going on this month because I need my phone and I'm recording using my phone. I have like a bunch of notes in there that I kind of like write in at the same time that I do the monthly reflection. But I do know that on the 1st, it's my brother's birthday. That's one thing I know for sure. I think the 8th, I have my 3rd chemical peel appointment. And I think that's all I can really remember. We'll dive into it once I open up my Google Calendar because I have stuff thrown in there as well. Oh, I do know that I'm going into Manhattan on the 6th, and that's also the season 3 premiere of our podcast, Live or Alone Pod. And to be honest with you, that's all I can remember. That's kind of the concept of what I would be doing in this planner. I just don't want to do it right now and upset Ian. Okay, so we were just talking about the calendar, so I decided I would just switch up the format in the midst of this and show you my actual calendar. This is the Notion calendar. I just decided to go with this one because it looks really nice. But as you can see, my calendar isn't full. I know it might seem like it's full, but in reality, all of these things jotted down every single day are reminders to myself. I talked about this in a video where I talked about like all of my productivity tools and how I set reminders for myself every single day. So in reality, the only things that are actual events so far are these kind of like big blocks. So like I mentioned, my brother's birthday at the beginning of the month, we have some doctor's appointment type things. Ian got a new job. And Live or Alone podcast season 3 premiere is on there as well. But the rest of the month is pretty much empty because I just haven't gotten into the nitty gritty of my calendar just yet. I'll do that when I do the monthly check-in with Ian later today or tomorrow. Oh, actually, yeah, it's today. It says monthly recap right here. We also do a budget tracker and what have you at the end / beginning of a new month and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what the calendar actually looks like for the time being. Things will change, and I'll probably talk about it in the following month's reset / recap. But I just wanted you to see what it actually looks like. And I did also want to note that over here, it's our first quarterly review, y'all. Can you believe that? We are nearing the end of our first quarter. I've talked about quarterly reviews so many times on this channel, so I won't get redundant, but it's happening. It's happening at the end of March. So in that same realm, I'm going to switch over tabs to my Notion, where I've been kind of compiling a master to-do list for my first quarter. And so this to-do list just has a bunch of random things that pertain to the goals that I want to get done or things that I want to get done in my overseeing yearly goals in the first quarter. You'll see that a lot of these things are crossed out. Majority of the things are crossed out, actually. And so I have the remainder of March to get the rest of this list crossed off. As you can see, there's only actually 3 things left. So I think it's more than possible. And what I have is live stream ideas for TikTok because I finally hit 1K on TikTok. Amazing. And so now I can go live, and I would like to go live. I just need to think of ideas as to what I should do while live. Another thing is to look into kitchen cabinet painting. I have pinned some Pinterest boards in my home Pinterest board. So I've started on that, but I haven't completed exactly what I want to do there. I need to do research on what I want. I need to figure out colors, and then I need to figure out if I'm going to do it myself, if I'm going to do half myself and half hired, or just fully have somebody do it for me. So those are the things that are involved in that, and that's why it's taking so long for me to finish it in this first quarter. And then the last thing, I mean, I've kind of done this already. I could technically cross it off, but I want to go a step further. So it says, see what trees are native in New Jersey. And so as you can see, I did the research as to what trees and shrubs are native in New Jersey because I would like to plant some in my backyard. If you did not know, last year we had to cut down one of our 2 massive trees in our backyard, and I'm heartbroken about it, but I want to get some trees in the backyard again. So doing research on that so that it can get planted down in the spring. So that's why I needed to make sure that this got done in quarter 1. And so I've done the research, but now I need to figure out how exactly you plant trees. I don't even know how you would plant a tree that you're expecting to grow into a massive tree. I want to make sure that I'm doing it right, and I'm contacting the experts that know how to do that. So that's what's technically left in this point, and then I can cross it off. So just 3 things. 2 of them are kind of big, and then the live stream ideas are not too big, but everything else got crossed off. And so this is kind of giving me a visual, giving me a little bit of an idea as to how my quarterly review is going to look, I think. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you because this is a new addition to what I've been doing. Last year, I didn't have a master to-do list, and I felt like I was bringing over a lot of things from previous quarters into following quarters because I would forget about it, right? So these to-do lists are lifesavers for me personally. Okay, so I think the last section or segment of this video is just talking about what I anticipate and what I'm looking forward to doing in March when it comes to my goals. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen in terms of my slow living journey. I don't set strict goals when it comes to slow living. I need to make sure that I'm doing X, Y, and Z practice every single day. I mean, I have my routines and stuff like that, but slow living isn't meant to be 100% structured. As contradictory to how many times that I talk about productivity and having a system set up, I don't mean it 100%. Some things will come spontaneously, some things you'll learn, some things you'll discover about yourself on your slow living journey. And so I kind of let that take the lead when it comes to that area of slow living. And then I just focus on my goals when it comes to yes, I want to get this done by this week in March, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Never take slow living to that level of type A-ness if you are type A like me. But I brought my journal back because I did kind of want to look at my 2024 goals when I'm telling you about what I want to focus on in March, because that all makes sense. It all intertwines. I think a big one for me in March is challenging myself when it comes to workouts. I feel like in January and in February, I didn't really fully challenge myself. I've done workouts. I work out every single day, and on the weekends, I get a little bit more intense because I have a little bit more time to get more intense with my workouts, but I would like to take it another step further. I feel like I really want to achieve the 12-3-30 thing. I think it's pretty much you go at a speed at 3 miles an hour on your treadmill for 30 minutes, so that's the 3 and the 30, and at a 12 incline. So there's a setting on your treadmill where you can set it to 12, and it inclines all the way up to level 12, whatever that means. I don't know. But I would love to challenge myself and get myself there. It's very, very hard for me to do that challenge because I am short. So when I put the incline on 12, I feel like I'm literally climbing a mountain. I don't know if that's the same for other people, but I would like to do that. So that's probably the most concrete thing or example I can put when it comes to challenging myself in terms of workout. I will also say March is the beginning of spring. So a big focus for me in March is getting my seeds and getting everything set up for my backyard garden. My my outdoor greenhouse, my backyard greenhouse is not looking good right now. It's full of dead plants, so I need to clean that out. And one piece of the paneling for the roof kind of flew out during the winter. So, snow and rain and things have been falling into the greenhouse essentially because a piece of the roof has been missing. So I need to just fix up the entire greenhouse and backyard and situation and then get my seeds going. That's going to take up a huge chunk of time in the beginning of spring, and I just want to make sure that I get it done early because I don't want to be late in the game when it comes to the gardening stuff, and I feel like I'm already late technically, but that's going to be a big thing for me when it comes to March. And then the other things are kind of just the same old stuff. Putting money into my savings, taking care of my skin, dedicating time to hobbies and stuff like that. Also, the kitchen project. I feel like in the spring, I will be able to finalize all those things that I was telling you that I'm still working on my to-do list, and then the actual painting will get done in the summer. The reason why I keep thinking about summer when it comes to that is because I want to be able to open up all the windows and let the space get some fresh air, because paint is going to be quite stifling, if that makes sense. So I think just setting up the groundwork for preparing for that project is something that I will also focus on in March. But I think that's all I've got. And like I said, I'm going to let things free flow when it comes to actual slow living practices and what I learn on the way. I think that's the best way to go when it comes to the specifics, the specific little things that bring you joy each month. I think you probably got the idea of that when I spotlighted some products and experiences and activities that I did in February. But that is all for this video. I hope it was fun. I hope it was better than last month's reset. I know that it was, but yeah, you let me know what you think in the comments. But thank you so much for being here. Happy new month. I hope you had a fantastic February. Let me know any of the things that you did in February, your little joys, products, experiences, activities, whatever it is that you enjoyed in February. Let me know. Also, let me know how you spent your extra day, because it was a leap year. And I hope you have a fantastic March. We'll talk again at the end of March.